Hello and welcome to the 10 Time Morning Show. Let me check and see how many people are live with us. Okay. Good morning. Welcome. And just waiting for more people to join and so we can begin. Now, one thing you can do while we wait is you can just simply tap on the share button and share this video, share this stream. Today is day 10. We've come a long way, day 10. So share this on your status, share this on your WhatsApp group, and so that everyone else who you know is definitely going to want to hear what we have to say will be here. Welcome to today's live. Welcome to the Densai Morning Show, where we discuss everything about raising genius skills. My name is Chris, and I am your host. Today, we'll be talking about how to know if your child is actually learning. We're talking about to know if how you can know that your child is actually learning. You see, it's Tuesday. It's the last episode of week 2, right? And I'm ending the week with something very every parent needs to hear. Okay, and that is that your child brings home a test score, let's say 75%, 75%, and you look at it and you think, is that good? Should I be worried? Should I celebrate? You don't really know, because here's the thing is that you don't really know if your child is doing well or not, right? You don't know if they are doing well or not. You don't know if you should celebrate. You don't know if you don't really know, because a grade tells you how your child performed on one test on one specific day. So maybe that day was a good day, then obviously, well, they did well on that day. It doesn't actually tell you if they are actually learning, and this is where a lot of parents make the mistake, because they think that, oh, by getting good grades it means that their child is learning. No, sometimes your child can have excellent grades, and still, if you ask them a question about that same thing that they are supposed to know, they can't give you an answer, right? So it doesn't actually tell you if they are learning. So the moment you realize this, you realize that, oh, exams, so all of this, they are a means to an end. They are a means to an end. So how do you actually know if your child is learning? How do you actually know if your child is learning? Not performing, not memorizing, not cramming, not regurgitating what they've heard. Actual learning, like actual learning, when I mean learning, I mean internalization. I mean knowing it in the fiber of their being. How do you know that your child is learning? There are four signs. There are four signs I personally look for, and I think that you should start looking up for that as well. And the first one is, number one, is that they can repeat it in their own words. I always say this. In fact, when I was in school, I didn't really. I used to study to kind of understand, and whenever I went back, I would always give lecturers in terms of from where I understood. But for some reason, they didn't like that. For some reason, they didn't like that. For some reason, they wanted give me what I gave you. For some reason, they wanted oh, if you're not using the terms I use, then you don't know it. But it didn't really matter to me. It didn't really matter to me because I kept on doing what I was doing. And this one skill has really, really helped me. Because years after that, I still remember all those things. Why? Because I really understood them and I put them in my words. So, one major sign, in fact, the first one is if they can explain it in their own words, not to repeat the textbook definition. If they can explain it like they are teaching a younger child, if your child can say photosynthesis is how plants make food using sunlight, instead of reciting the textbook paragraph word for word, then they understand it. The ability to simplify something. In fact, mastery is being able to do the simple things excellently. That's mastery. Anybody that knows how to make complex things simple is a master at it. And so the end goal is simplicity, simple. That's the first one. The second one is if they can apply it to a new situation. So a friend of mine, or rather a mentor, would always say that given the same circumstances and the same variables, if you do the same thing despite having new knowledge, then you have not learned. That learning is being faced with the same conditions, but doing a different, having a different outcome to that situation. Let's say, for example, you want to cross the road and then you don't look left and right, so you just cross the road like that, and then the car hits you, and you break your leg, for example. God forbid. Now, let's say it's not that serious, and so you came back. The next day, let's say you wanted to cross another road again. If you don't look left and right, now the road is still the same road. So, but if you don't look left and right and you cross, but then luckily for you, nothing happens to you, would you say that you have really learned? Would you say that you have really learned that you have to look left and right before crossing? But if you are faced with that same circumstance, and then you look left and right and you stop, you don't go anywhere until the coast is clear, then that shows that you have learned from that your mistake. If your child learned about percentages and can only answer the exact same type of question they practice, that is what they just simply did is pattern recognition. They have not learned. They just knew that, oh, A plus A is AA. That's all. But if they configure, or if they can figure out the tip at a restaurant, or calculate a discount at a shop, or calculate a percentage outside of the context of what they knew it as or from, because they simply understand it as a concept, then that is real learning. So they are able to transfer that new context. That ability to transfer it is the gold standard of learning. The third sign is that they are able to remember it weeks later without last-minute revision. If your child studies hard, writes a test, scores well, and then can't answer the same questions a month later, they did not learn it. They simply memorized it. They rented the information temporarily just to pass the exam. Real learning, real knowledge actually sticks. If you have to relearn something every time, then you have not learned it in the first place. If you have to relearn something every time, then you haven't learned it in the first place. The fourth side is ask deeper questions. One of the ways you know a really smart person is by the quality of their questions. A child who is genuinely learning doesn't just accept information. They get curious. They ask you questions that show you that this person is actually playing around with this. They get curious, but why does this happen? What if you change this part? What if you did this? What if you did that? Does this work like this? When your child starts asking questions that go beyond the textbook, that is the clearest sign that real thinking is happening. That's the clearest sign. And so let me talk about something that I am very passionate about, which is memorization versus understanding, or You could say memorization versus internalization. Now, the problem with our educational system is that it rewards memorization, it rewards cramming. A child can score 90% on a test by cramming the right sentences or cramming the night before. The parent is happy, the teacher is happy, everyone celebrates, but give that same child that same test a month after without warning them. And if they score a 50, you will even be happy. So where did the learning go? It didn't go anywhere. It was never there. What they had was temporary intelligence, temporary performance. It was just here in their brain. And so immediately it was time in the hall. You see them writing it because they didn't want to forget it. If they really knew it, they wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. In Igbo, we say, agadi nwaanyị ada aka nka na-egwu ọma agba. You can't, just because you've not practiced, if you are good at this thing, you are good at this. If you know this, you know this. There's no back and forth. Right? It's like renting a hotel room versus owning a house. You were there for a night, but it was never yours. And so this is why so many children seem to forget everything when a term starts. It's not that they forgot. They never truly learned. All they did was they memorized, they performed, and they moved on. So the appearance of learning without the substance. The appearance of learning without the substance. So here's something practical that you can start doing today, okay? Something practical that you can start doing today. You have to change the conversation. You have to say, change the questions that you ask about your child, about school. Most parents ask, oh, what did you get? This question tells your child that grade, that number, that's what matters. Instead, you can ask, what did you learn today that was interesting? Can you teach me something new that you learned this week? What is something that confused you today? This one is very important because it normalizes not understanding. It helps you see exactly where your child is. So if you ask your child, oh, what confused you today? That's a powerful one. It normalizes not understanding everything immediately. It tells your child that, okay, confusion is part of the learning, not a sign of failure. So when you shift the conversation from grades to understanding, your child's relationship with learning changes as well. So they stop trying to perform for you and they start trying to actually understand for themselves. And that shift is everything. Let me tell you a story about a mom who made this shift. She used to ask her son every day, Emeka, what did you get on your test? Prepare for your test. You have an exam coming next week. So what Emeka would do is that he would be happy or stressed depending on the number. So school was all about the score. School was all about the score. Then after she learned this, she kind of switched it. She started to ask him, oh, teach me one thing you learned today. At first, there was nothing. He would just shrug, he would say nothing, man. But after about 2 weeks, he started actually paying attention in class so that he knew, so that he would go home and teach his mom something. Because he knows that his mom is definitely going to ask him. Now, after a month, he was coming home excited to explain things by himself. He was not the one now actually doing it. His grades went up too, but that was not the goal. The goal was real learning, and then, of course, the grade follows naturally. So if you do the work, if you focus on understanding, you will do better than somebody who is just trying to get to a destination. I hope this makes clear. I hope this is clear. Because sometimes as parents, we can be so short-sighted that we pass on the wrong expectations to our kids. And so this is the purpose of this class, this training, for you to understand that that's not the way to go. So quick recap of week 2. On Wednesday last week, we talked about why your child is not bad at maths and how number sense develops. We broke down the difference between decoding and comprehension on reading. We also talked about the age where your child's brain changes. Then I think yesterday I told you about um yesterday I told you about why extra lessons don't work. And then today we're talking about 4 signs that your child is actually learning. So next week we're going to go wider. We've been talking about what is happening inside your child's learning. Next week we're going to talk about what is happening around them. By next week I mean tomorrow, from tomorrow, of course. So by tomorrow, from tomorrow, we'll start talking about what is happening around them, the environment, the systems, the people. The people, very important. So subscribe if you haven't already, and please let me beg you guys. So when you get the link for the training, when you get the link for the live, please always share it. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your loved ones, share it on social media. Let other parents join and come and experience this because it's so important for them. This is free. Go get in and share with as many people as possible. We don't want to come and see only 5 people live. We want you to be in your numbers, learning and understanding a new way of helping your child learn. This is going to save you a lot and lot and lot of money. So why are you not sharing it? Abi, you want to only eat it yourself? Okay. So I appreciate every single one of you who has been showing up. Congratulations on staying. If this helped you, let me know in the chat. Then also share this stream with one of your loved ones. See you tomorrow in the next one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. If you have any questions or any concerns, please let me know. Okay, reach out to me or drop a comment or anything. I'm going to definitely reach out and we can sort that out. Thank you very much and have an amazing morning.